We got this question, which is a part of like a series, I guess. But which decade reigned supreme for horror movies? We got the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. For you, which one reigns supreme for you?
Okay, for me, okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
So the 1980s is more like the beginning of like all the slasher stuff. So, man, that's a tough one for me to put at number one. Because I mean, obviously you got like, the Jasons, you got like the Michael Myers, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just pretty much all the traditional slasher stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, the slasher stuff isn't the scariest stuff to me. And when you get to the 90s, it's more of like, I feel like
the 90s
it's more just straight up gory, like horror and like gore, like a lot more. I don't know, like
the 90s.
I don't want to say like blood, but it's just different. Yeah,
it was a lot of experimentation in the 90s. I think Scream, changed the way horror movies were in the 90s. Like when you watch a 90s horror movie, you're watching a 90s horror movie. You don't even have to like look at the year. You can watch it and tell it's from the 90s. It was kind of like that grunge rock band type vibe. You know what I mean? Like the
it was real. It was real stereotypical.
Yeah,
yeah, because you had like all the like high school kids getting killed. Like I Know What You Did Last Summer and like Scream. Like all the high school kids were getting killed. It's like the stereotypical like high school kind of like slasher type stuff.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the 2000s, then you get like the Saws, the Grudge, the Ring, things like. So it's like more of like the psychological stuff. And then when
that's
you get
when
to the
it started.
I feel like it's more jump scare in the 210s.
Yeah, I think the 210s is like a. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like, Paranormal Activity started in the 2000s, right?
Yeah, 2007 was the first one.
So 2000s, actually, I feel like it started like the found footage. So then you get like the Paranormal Activities, the Blair Witch Projects.
The Blair Witch was the 90s.
VHS.
Yeah, Blair Witch was. Yeah, it was the 90s. Yeah, late 90s. I want to say like 98. It came on at the same time as it was like a Scream type. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, 90, 99, literally. So basically, right before the 2000s started. That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Well, I guess it was ushering in a new genre.
Yeah,
like the found footage genre.
Mm-hmm.
Of them just reviewing footage that they found of a horror happening.
I feel like the 90s horror is a lot of it was inspired. No, the 2000s horror were inspired by a lot of like the Japanese horror. Because I think the Grudge and the Ring are actually Japanese movies that came out in the 90s, and then they had the United States remade their version of it. So I think the 2000s were very inspired by the horror movies from other cultures. The 1980s, I think that's the most that won the vote at 58%. It's not even close. I think the 80s is more of nostalgia. But the 80s is more than just slasher. Like you got Poltergeist, you got it was really a TV show. Was it a 90s? It was the 90s, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was the 90s. There's a curse surrounding that show, by the way.
Is it really?
So two of the actors that were in the original show, the TV series, they died way before they were supposed to.
Shit. I mean, life is
unpredictable. I mean, I know your time comes when it comes, but I'm just saying they died young in a way. Yeah.
That is kind of
one of them died unexpectedly.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Rest in peace. But yeah, the 80s is mainly known for the slashers, but they had a few gems in there. Mm-hmm. The 90s, like we were saying, is that era like where it's the stereotypical type movie. You know when you're watching a 90s horror movie. 2000s was like the transition to where we are today. Like the horror movies today are very like as you said, like a lot of jump scares, but it's really more mental than actual
psychological stuff. Yep.
Yeah, it's like stuff that mess with you. Like, what the hell? This shit really happened? Such as Hereditary, Midsummer, stuff like that came in the 2010s. So if I'm going based off nostalgia, I'm going with the 80s. If I'm going off like pure scary, I would go with the 2010s, just because of the Conjurings, the Annabelles, the Insidious, stuff like that. It's like it messes with you, like it's scared to go to sleep type shit, scared to walk in the house with the lights off type shit. You know what I mean?
True. And the thing is this, like throughout the 2000s and the 2010s, you see a lot more of these independent studios coming about and being created. So now this mass production of all these horror films, even horror films that really didn't make it to the big screen, these horror films that are independently made are making it out. And some of them are actually really good.
Absolutely. I agree.